but we should watch this film, Just Mercy, that came out last year, and it was one of those that was snubbed for being an Oscar contender. Like, a lot of people were talking about Jamie Foxx's performance and how powerful it was, and now with the horribleness that's happening right now and the need for needing to at least educate people, to put them into that space where you can empathize with something that's outside of your world, which is what movies do at their best. Like, they're empathy generating machines. This is one that all the studios thought would be good enough to release out for free for everybody. So we all had a chance to talk about, well, to watch it. And I want to start, I guess, with what did you guys think, first of all, with like the film in general, and then we'll kind of go one-on-one to talk about the different aspects. But we'll start with Chaz. What do you think?
I cried 3 times. It was like the middle, or the beginning, the middle, and the end. Like, I cried in all 3 arcs of the movie, and I thought it was very well done. I understand why people were frustrated that it got, because from watching it now, like, I kind of get like where it might have been snubbed, because I didn't catch this in theaters. You know, I watched it for free while it's streaming everywhere. No, I thought it was very well done, though, and I thought it was very powerful. And Jamie Foxx giving one hell of a performance, and then Michael B. Jordan giving one hell of a performance and tying it together. You know, like, it's crazy how relevant that feels, even though that film takes place in the late 80s, early 90s. So
yes, it's in 1989. This is for Harvard Law graduate Brian Stevenson, who's played by Michael B. Jordan. He travels to Alabama after getting a degree with Harvard, hoping to help fight for the poor people that can't afford proper legal representation. Teaming with someone, he founds an equal justice initiative, and one of the death row inmates that he's working with, Walter Johnny D. McMillan, is played by Jamie Foxx. And this is the big overarching story of this, is Michael B. Jordan seeing the systemic racism that was inside of this case, and being able to, I guess, look at this small town and be able to give justice, as he says, to the people that are there. I thought it was so moving. And Chaz, I agree with you. Like, each act has something in there that honestly, it made me nauseous. Like, I felt sick in a lot of points, and it's supposed to make you feel that. Like, a lot of people don't watch some of these movies because they're like, I don't like feeling that way. That's the point of the film, to make you understand and empathize. And this movie did such a good job of that. And Michael B. Jordan was a powerhouse. Jamie Foxx was super. He was really nuanced in his performance. Like, it was very subtle. It was so good. And yeah, what did you think about it, Jay?
Like Chaz, but a little bit more. I started crying from the very beginning because I've seen it. This movie it reminds me so much of what really went on, and even to this day is still going on. You know, I cried all the way through from beginning to end. My wife came out and she looked at me and she asked me if I was all right, because she thought I was like having a panic attack or something. And I was like, no, I was sitting here folding these clothes and watching this movie at the same time. And I'm just like, wow, you know, and it's not just Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. We're also forgetting about Brie Larson's character in this as well, because she did a very, very good job in the supporting role of this movie. And actually, quick correction, this movie actually came out in January. We were actually supposed to do a review on this movie back in January.
Hold on there, because I see it theatrically released December 25th.
It did not happen. It happened on January 19th, I believe.
Wikipedia.
Was it a wide
Son of
release
a
issue?
bitch.
It was out. It was in the theaters. My mother-in-law got a chance to see it. I did not get a chance to see it because at that time I was actually truck driving, so I was never home. But you know, it's the movie was very inspirational and very powerful. It reminds me of a movie that came out last year called Brian Banks with Aldous Hodges. Um, I actually cried during that movie. He was a convicted felon uh, that was supposed to he's supposed to register as a sex offender because they said that he raped a girl because the girl said he raped her, but he didn't rape her at all. And he's been having to try to find jobs. He can't go anywhere close to parks. You know, he can't do any of the things that normal people can do because of his limitations. And what I see in this movie with Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan and Brie Larson and the rest of the cast is that they broke those limitations just by helping the inmates that they helped. I mean, if you guys paid attention at the end of the movie, the character played by Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr., he didn't get out until 2015 or 17, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole 30 years later that he was supposed to have been gone, and he was on death row.
Mm-hmm.
And 30 years, that's a long, long time. But as I said earlier, they broke that barrier, and it was so overwhelming. Like, even now, I kind of want to tear up about it because it's hard to see, you know, all this stuff that's going on. And then you have this one movie to put it into perspective for you that there can be a change as long as you're willing to put in the work to help that change move forward. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's that's all I have to say about that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep myself.
No worries. Brandon, what did you think?
This movie was exhausting. Watching it, it just kept getting worse, and it just kept getting worse, and things kept happening, and it was just exhausting to watch. And I think that was on purpose. Because, like you said, some people don't like to feel that way. But if it's exhausting for 2 hours, imagine years, imagine lifetimes. And it gives a little bit more of a perspective onto how that happened. And it was very moving. It was very easy to see the injustices, and that's, you know, I think that's kind of why we're where we are at right now, is because something came out that was just impossible to defend. And this was another one of those cases where it was just impossible to defend somebody there. But the way the system works, that movie took place over the course of, I want to say it was 5-ish years. I can't remember the exact dates, but it took about 5 years for Michael B. Jordan's character to come in and pick up the case and then have all charges dropped.
I believe it was 1988 to 1993.
Yeah, so that time period was compressed down to a couple hours, and it was exhausting. Imagine if you lived it for even just those 5 years.
And like I don't know. I'm gonna spoil some of this and say some of the parts because like just holy shit, some of the fucked up moments are just. First one that I was thinking of was just the fact that they had put him on death row before he had a trial date set for all of this. That's insane. That still happens. Like most of the stuff came from true accounts. Like this is based off of true events. And damn, one of the great things that they do point out though with this is not only that you can like finding justice for one person is something, but you have to change the system. You have to change the way that they do these things and fight for that. And with that last little bit, I thought it was the perfect ending to this because it was the perfect way to wrap up that the fight wasn't over for either of them, and that their relationship had still grown so much. And by the way, their chemistry is off the charts. Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan are great together in this. And Brie Larson also was great with them too.
They definitely played off of themselves very well. There is one thing I do want to say. There is Dr. Cornell West. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him. He did say, and I might be off this quote a little bit, but he said, "You can't help the people if you don't serve the people." I believe it goes like that. And in this instance, in this movie, I see a lot of that happening. You know what I mean? I see a lot of someone trying to help someone and not giving up. Like he said, you went all the way out there to go see my family. That mean a lot. You know what I mean? Like it shows that, you know, even as defense lawyers and stuff like that, they really do take an interest in trying to get to know who they're representing, because not only does it show what good character they have, but it shows, you know, the type of person he really is and how dedicated to his work he is, you know. So
Well, and Brie
that's
Larson's character made a comment about that, about how he truly loves his clients, and that makes it so much easier for him to fight for them, and that makes a big deal. And you know, we talked about it a little earlier. Brie Larson's portrayal of that character was just so good.
very good.
The scene with the bomb threat in the house, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, that is something where I don't know what I would do, but Brie Larson's character, she took a stand and she stayed there. And, you know, because at that point, it's not just me and my choices and what I'm doing. It's my child. It's my spouse. It's, you know, how would I handle that? And it was pretty inspiring to see that. And to, you know, I did a little bit of, after the movie, I was like, okay, I need to go see what was fictionalized, what was dramatized, and what wasn't. And that was not dramatized at all. That was not making a point. That happened on multiple occasions. If anything, they cut out a lot from her experience because it wasn't about her.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This movie was, in my opinion, probably one of the best movies I've seen all year. And I just got done watching Scoob, and that was great. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? And then after watching Scoob, I go and I watch this, you know, and
wow, you should have done that the opposite way.
yeah,
Can I ask who didn't sleep a little after? How late did you guys watch this?
I watched it today.
Oh, okay. Because we watched it like right before we went to bed, and I was like, oh.
I watched it yesterday as I was folding the clothes in the morning.
Yeah, so I'm the one that ruined that one. Cool.
I think the scene that got to me the most, like stood out the most, was the execution scene.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was really haunting.
Man.
But I was thinking about that when I was watching that scene, because a part of me was, because anytime it was going through those moments, and that's one of those scenes in each act that's very specifically like very uncomfortable. But I always have this fear that it's going to be uncomfortable and distasteful at the same time. That we're going to have some weird impression of an electroshock, and that they're going to do like some weird thing like that. But they did it in such a profoundly, I guess, hopeful yet destructing. Like it just ruins you to see like how
that's portrayed too for that scene, that in particular character. I thought he did a really good job displaying
Rob Morgan is the guy who played
Ralph Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he did a really great job in portraying PTSD, you know, from being in the war and stuff like that. I have a few family members who served in Vietnam, who and served during that time period, who have had that type of speech impediment or feeling all the time to do certain things. They had family to help, as this man did not. So I think that the character, would you say his name was again?
The character's name is Herbert Richardson, and it was played by Rob Morgan.
Rob Morgan. I thought he did a very great job until, you know, he he got the chair. I hate
Well,
to say
it
it
was
like
that
that.
callback. It was the part in that scene that I thought made it much less like a scene to just glorify something. Was when they did the callback to the breathing at that point in the end,
Yep.
where he looks up through the vents, he hears the clanging, he remembers he's got people, and that he can take that breath. That's where it was just such a sad hope, like a sad, like at least maybe he died with some semblance of knowing that he wasn't alone. And so many people
Right.
don't get that.
Well, and like watching, like when, because with that scene, I thought they were going to cut away before they executed him, and I was wondering if they weren't going to pull away, then like exactly how are they going to,
Right.
allow that? And I think that, like what you were saying, Patrick, the way they did that is they kind of like you hear the zap, but it's on the
glass.
glass with where you can see everybody watching, and you see Michael B. Jordan's character like kind of cringe, and like it was like at that moment is like when his character got sparked. Like he's like, nope, there needs to be change. Like I need to save,
Right.
And Brie Larson, when he gets back into the car afterward and they're
Yep.
just sitting there, it's just, there's so many powerful moments in here. And there's another character that was in this that was I think very good as well, with Tim Blake Nelson, who always is showing up as a supporting character, and just always kills it. And I don't know what is it about his face that makes him so racist looking. Where they're gonna put him in, you know what I mean? No, okay. Him and Stephen Merchant every once in a while get filtered in to be like the dad that's super homophobic or the very racist person.
This movie also brings back a movie I believe from 1995, A Time to Kill, with Samuel Jackson, Kevin Spacey, Matthew McConaughey, Sandra Bullock. It was an all-star cast. Keith Lee and David Sutherland were also in that movie. There was a lot of racial injustice there. That's where the saying, yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell, came from. It was a very, very similar feeling watching this movie, because even though I'm only 34, well, 33, I turned 34 this year. I watched that movie, and
you call that old? What are you talking about?
I instantly, without a shadow of a doubt, kind of said, all right, from this point on, this is like my go-to movie. Samuel Jackson's my favorite actor of all time. Sorry, Denzel. Sorry, Will Smith. It's Samuel Jackson. Because of not just because he uses the word motherfucker in every movie that he has, but because of the way he carries himself in his roles. I can relate to it. It's just so great. And this movie has so many similarities. If you haven't seen A Time to Kill, I'm giving you the J recommendation to watch that movie.
Ooh, is this going to be part of your show, the J recommendation?
Yes, that is going to be that is going to be the last part of before I end it. That's going to be part of my podcast.
That's dope.
You heard it here first, folks.
Y'all just got a sneak fucking peek of that. That's awesome.
Ooh, that got me wet.
Can I just tell you that?
All right, there.
Oh man,
Jazz, there are children listening. Continue.
So this film, the storytelling in it is amazing because it's based on a true story, and most everything they had on there was true. But this film, going back to the execution scene, and the way they tied that into the very end of the film, and the cups clanging in protest, or not protest in one instance, but the cups and the similarities of being walked down that hallway out of death row. It just was a very, I felt like it was a very moving way to tie in those two. And I was constantly impressed with the way that they told the story, having to follow the actual historical, because they pretty much did. They based it off the memoirs of the lawyer, but then they followed it along pretty well. And even to the fact of using the racist guard and showing his journey, that one was kind of made up. Okay,
because let me say, I hate those characters. I'm just gonna say it. I just think it's a weird gimme to like make all the actual racist people try to watch and pay attention. But like, if you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. And what he did in the beginning of that movie, I was like, all right, kill him. Just kill him. He's out. I hope a bus hits him. I hope something bad happens that has nothing to do with the story, and I can say, good, he's gone.
Right, because even by law,
Or that lawyer too.
He made a really great point. By law, the attorney is not subsidized to a strip search.
Yeah, no, I'm not defending that in any way.
That was just hard. That was hard to watch. You could tell
that was the first one where I was like, "Oh shit!" Yep.
Yeah. So that guy never changed. That was something that was added to the film. That guy never changed like that. The memoir did tell about a guard who got better over time, but it was because he was a foster kid and he heard, I can't remember which of the other clients was a foster kid, and they overheard them talking about how hard it was being a foster kid, and they kind of bonded over that, and he stopped being quite as racist after that, which I don't know if it was racist period or racist towards that one person. It was, and so that was one of those times where they condensed the story in a way that was inauthentic, but the way that they told the story, and they just made it so uncomfortable in that execution scene. That really, I didn't enjoy it, but I was very impressed by it.
I remember hearing from a critic a while back during, I think, when Creed 2 came out. They had, it wasn't a complaint, it was just an observation, and I couldn't help but notice at least the director taking advantage of this part of Michael B. Jordan, but he's a very reactive actor. Like, he's very facial with his responses, and you are usually seeing his reaction to the stuff happening, much like the execution scene, than what you're seeing actually unfolding. And I think him being able to emote that way is part of why Michael B. Jordan is such a powerhouse performance and like is wanted in everything.
I agree. I totally agree with that. It's like Fruitville Station.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was great.
That's one I haven't seen yet, but I know that's on Netflix.
That's a good one.
It was also directed by Ryan Coogler, who also did Black Panther. So they kind of know each other and they kind of work well with each other. So
Very cool.
it was really, really great to see that performance from Michael B. Jordan.
Well, that's what we think about unless there's anything else for this, any other parts of the movie, because
I don't want to cry anymore. Like, I cried so much during this movie, and my wife is going to watch it tonight, so
yeah.
Give her a glass of wine.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, everybody, please go and check this out, because first of all, it's free. And what else are you doing right now? COVID cases are going up. Stay in your goddamn house, and if not, learn something.
Yeah, the movie is supposed to be free till the end of June, I was told, or I read.
For 30 days.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same with Selma as well. I forgot, Chaz. Or you guys have mentioned that.
Yeah, Selma. I'll definitely get that because I haven't seen that yet. Mm-hmm. You would think I would have watched that movie. I was driving.
That's not what we would have thought at all, Jay.
Hey man, I was out there in Salt Lake City when that movie came out. I was driving back and forth, so I couldn't watch the movie even if I wanted to.